Hey, what's up, MSU Yu-Gi-Oh? Today we have our 4th place at the first spring locals on MSU. Nick, what you playing?
I'm playing Adventure Token Stun, Pure Adventure Token. I guess I'll just get going with the deck.
You got it. Let's see that main deck.
So triple Water Enchantress, not much to say there. Obviously that's the starter. 1 Wandering Griffin Rider, 1 Illegal Knight. You got to play both of them, I think, because if either one of these gets milled, it can kind of suck. Can't really afford to play more than one of each because I need space for hand traps and tech options. Pretty standard, I guess. Then we play a Mono Wado. This is the main gimmick of the deck, is since Rite of Aramesir says a Mono Wado won't be able to activate its effect, this won't return your hand in the end phase, so this is just like a Mystic Mine at home. You just set this up going first, and a lot of decks can't deal with it.
That's evil, dude.
That's like one of the main win conditions. And I still play Ash. A lot of people cut Ash, but I think if you hit tier at the right time, it can still be good. And in Lansing locals, there's just a ton of Rogue, so I think that Ash is necessary. And then I play Triple Shifter. I really don't care if anything gets banished, and this card is amazing. So then I play Triple Gamma, 1 Driver. There's a lot of points in this deck where your opponent can Ash you while you have no monsters up, like the pot cards, Fateful, Enchantress Effect in hand or graveyard. So being able to punish people for ashing you and then still getting your plays going, pretty good. Then I play the Equip Spells, 1 Dracoback and 1 Starlet. Dracoback is Dracoback. If this gets milled, it really sucks, but it still really wouldn't make too much sense to play more than 1 to me. Just don't really have the space for it. Starlet, this card, nobody knows what it does, and they always have to read it. It makes your opponent lose 500 attack for each Brave token monster you control, not counting the token. And then it has synergy with the Field Spell, which is the next card I play. If you equip a monster with this while the Field Spell's up, that monster is unaffected by all card effects. And then the Field Spell, again, nobody knows what this does. You can actually place this on the field with Enchantress. Yes, she does that. It basically says, like I said, it becomes unaffected when this is equipped, and then when your Brave token destroys a monster by battle, you get to draw a card. So that does end up coming up in the grind game for sure.
It's a very nice advantage loop, yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty decent. You don't really go 2+, but you just kind of floodgate your opponent and make minimal but strong plays.
You got it.
1 Foolish. I wanted this to be Called by the Grave, but I kept breaking on no starters. I love Call by the Grave, so and I'm a stickler for 40 cards, but I just needed 1 more starter, so I guess Call by had to be cut just for that. Triple Extrav, I don't own Prosperities. I'd probably play Prosperity if I did, but I'm big on budget decks, so this card's been honestly terrible for me. I always draw into the second Extrav and then Shifter or something, so it's not great, but it's not $40, so.
Yeah.
And then speaking of something that is $40, that's where all the money went. Rite of Aramesir, best starter. Not too much to say.
It's the core of the deck.
Yeah, pretty much. And then in the Brave Pure version, you do play 3 Fateful. It's the worst starter, but it is still a starter. You can't get Griffin Rider off of this card. You just get Rite and the Equip Spell. But when you have like a Floodgate up, sometimes that's good enough. So it's the worst starter, but it's still another starter, and this deck kind of struggles drawing starters, so I do max out. Then Triple Defissure. This is obviously Metacall. It kills tier, but it also kills a lot of rogue decks, and once I set this card up, people have a hard time outing it. So Floodgates and Stun decks are the name of the game here. And Triple Imperm, this is the last hand trap. I played 12 total hand traps in the main, 13 if you count Driver, but that's not really a hand trap. So Imperm the Kitkolos, Imperm the Gigantic, it's very good. And I play Triple Skill Drain. My copies are really beat up, but it's Skill Drain.
They got character.
Yeah, exactly. They got character. So yeah, when you set up the Draco back and Skill Drain and the token, you pretty much just beat your opponent down, bounce everything that's bigger than it. And it's pretty hard to out Skill Drain. Then I do the extra deck. So the extra deck is just literally just all Winter Cherries targets because I never use my extra deck for anything ever. So I just fill it up with all the relevant targets I could think of for all meta and rogue decks.
Makes sense.
Striker Dragon, you rip this when they normal summon a dragon and they pass turn half the time. It's pretty funny. Mathmech Alimbertian, that's the best card to rip from Mathmex. Sword Soul Chi Ripping this is quite hilarious. Sprite Elf, obviously that's good against Tier and Sprite.
Yeah.
So I was respecting Drytron even though nobody plays Drytron anymore. But when you have 15 slots, you kind of
You get some wiggle room
there. So I know there's a guy who plays Marincess, one guy who plays Marincess at our locals. So respected that. Exorcister, that one's actually more logical, so because there's a lot of more Exorcister players. Michaelis, this is their Search, Banish card. You rip this, they really don't end on much, especially not against this deck, because I don't care about the graveyard lock. Lubellion for Branded. This is pretty crappy to hit, but it can hurt in the grind game a little bit, so throw it in. Dark World starting to see play, and Tier. There's a Tier player at our locals who actually makes this card, so, you know, let's say I already hit the Kit Close, I can hit this too, I guess. Shangri-La, people are starting to play Cash. This will obviously be better more as the format goes in February. Yeah. Pendulum for the, what do you call it, Draco Slayer deck.
Yeah.
This is their most broken card, so rip that. Do I need to explain Kit Kalos?
I don't think we do.
How many games have I won by ripping Kit Kalos? Too many. Nat Beast is actually in the format, so hit Naturia, because if they Nat Beast me, I can't play. And then these are the two that aren't Winter Cherries targets. These are for making off of Gamma. If I'm allowed to get Gamma going first, make this, rip a card out of the hand, or make this, this is good going second, banish Tears, banish stuff on field. This card's expensive for no reason.
Did either of them come up today?
Nope, I banished them off of X-Ray constantly, so, and I never got to resolve Gamma going first, unfortunately.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Side deck, double anti-spell. I wanted it to be triple, but I kept bricking on it, like drawing multiple copies and no engine, so I knocked it down to 2. This is really funny if you get set up, though, because you just keep bouncing with Draco back, whatever they try to set, like the Tier field spell, I just keep bouncing it back to your hand. The only problem with this card is if I draw it and I'm not set up, I literally lose the game, because it hurts me too, so I've considered switching to something else, but it's so good when I get set up. I would be losing the game anyway if I didn't draw starters. Triple Judgment, it's a back row deck, so you need to stop the dusters and stuff.
Yep.
It sucks against Tier, but again, Judgment the field spell, that's all you can Judgment. Triple Evenly, this is the best board breaker ever printed in the game. It's crazy. Activate this, break the board, then activate right, and you've won the game. And then, obviously, Winter Cherries, you already saw my extra deck is just all targets for this. It's pretty hilarious when I resolve it. And then I actually sided the Bestial package because, like I said, in the area where I play, it's mostly Rogue. So Bestials aren't crazy good in the main deck, but they're pretty good in the side for where I live. So that's the deck profile. 40 cards in the main deck, 15 in the side, 15 in the extra. I'd like to shout out my own channel that will be going up soon called Meta Sheep Slaughterhouse. I run it with my friend, and we like to post mostly Rogue decks, but we're not really against meta, it's just part of the name. So if we really like a meta deck enough, then we'll post it. But it's mostly for rogue decks, stun decks, stuff like that. And shout out to MSU Yu-Gi-Oh! So
Yeah. And then one additional shout out we do have to give is to Legends for supplying us with a very nice box of Duels for the Deep to give out as additional prizing today. But thank you very much. This was a very cool deck profile, and we hope to see you again.